1, 2, 3. Mic check. Mic check. Check. He's over by my camera. You need to dial into IFB as well. IFB 1.
Oh, so don't use this IFB?
I need to go dial it in. I hung up everything because I didn't know he was going to be on. Like, you have your IFB on? I know. Just a few moments. Yeah.
Hello?
Mac, you talked to the booth already?
Not yet, but the first dog is.
Okay, they want to talk to you, huh?
Okay. Is it up?
Yes.
I don't hear anything. Should I?
Yes. Are you plugged in?
I'm plugged in.
Hit that button. Do you hear it? Hit that button. You still not hearing anything? You might have to dial in.
I gotta get.
You're not gonna be on camera anyway, right?
Yeah. Well, I think I am supposed to be on camera. I gotta get my. Oh, got it. I got it.
You have it now?
Yeah. She talked to me.
You heard it.
Yeah.
Okay.
1 minute. We're 1 minute. Yeah. Can you hear me? I'm coming to. Yeah, coming to camera now. Stand by.
You may not need me because if we start right on
My personal cell phone number. Text it and say it looks okay.
20 seconds.
And then text the link out.
There's no programming, right?
Behind us, the fire consumed
I know. Okay, so text me a message. My personal
Okay.
cell phone number. Don't.
Just go from me to the crowd.
And then I have to switch over the mic.
Okay.
Eight 411. Yep. Yes, and then retweet the link on Twitter. I'm already filming, so tell me if it's the right way. Okay.
Adrian, we're waiting this news conference here, about to get underway any minute now. It'll give us an update on exactly where we are with this fire as it still continues to burn right now. Most of the action right now in the Malibu area, take a look behind me, you can see fire crews as well as law enforcement officials have gathered here to prepare for this news conference. Is expected to get underway here in just a few moments, so we're waiting for that. We should get an update on the acreage, at how many acres have burned so far, also containment, if there's been some containment overnight, and there should be some good news according to some firefighters we talked to a short time ago about how much of the fire is contained right now opposed to about 24 hours ago when it was 0% containment. And again, 70,000 people evacuated their homes impacted by this fire. So we'll hopefully get more updated information right now from fire officials. This morning we were over in the Thousand Oaks area and we saw two homes near Whiteside Drive that were destroyed by some of those embers that flew out of the fire and then just hit one of those homes, but then spared a couple of homes that were on either side of each of those homes. That devastation is the story just about everywhere here in the Thousand Oaks area, the Westlake area, Agora Hills, and also the Oak Park area. Many of those homes were damaged by the fire as it burned over the course of the last 36 hours or so. For the last 12 hours or so, we've been seeing the fire basically centered around the Malibu area. That's where the fire kind of burned quickly over the course of the last 12 hours from about 8 o'clock yesterday morning after across the 101 freeway south. We saw some of the damage in that Malibu Lake area as well as the Malibu State Park area, and then of course down into the city of Malibu as well. We saw some damage there. We also got reports of possible injuries sustained by the fire over in the area of the Mulholland Highway, and we're waiting for confirmation to see if those people that were found dead related to the fire. So we're waiting to see exactly how that is all stacking up. Once this press conference gets underway, we'll certainly come back to you live so you can listen in. Adrian.
Hey, this is Captain Stan Ziegler. We're here at
No, I'm a supervisor for Ventura County, but we deal with consistency, so I'm always one.
Good morning. Put the fire personnel in the middle, law enforcement on the side, politicians. Good morning. I'd like to welcome you all to the press conference for the Woolsey Fire. We have speakers this morning, local political leaders, fire leaders, and our law enforcement partners. I'd like to bring up to the podium first Chairman of the Board of the Ventura County Board of Supervisors, Mr. Peter Foy.
Thank you everyone for being here this morning. As we continue to move through this fire, I do want to thank everyone who's participated. As I had the opportunity to tour last night, talking with some of the officers who've come from 60, 70 miles away to help protect. I just want to say thank you to all the agencies that have come to help this community. It's a very difficult time we're going through with the number of homes, the people out of their homes. We just ask that any of the public that can help your neighbors, please do that. This is a difficult time for all of us. And as a lot of these closures are going to continue as the winds are going to come back up in the next few days. It's very, very important that we continue to keep this community strong and together. And I just want to say to all of the first responders and all the ones who came from so far away, thank you for what you're doing. You think about this, it's just less than a year from the Thomas Fire. The same thing happening again here on the east side of the county and parts of LA County. Difficult for this community, but we are a strong community. We come together, and as representing the Board of Supervisors here in Ventura County and the county staff, the CEO, I just want to say thank you, and we will continue to do all we can to make sure our citizens and work with the LA City, LA County to help make it a good community and continue this support. So thank you for what you're doing.
If anybody has any questions, we're going to go ahead and take them as we go through the speakers this morning.
Questions on the fire chief?
Any questions?
Afterwards.
Yeah. Oh, you want to do it afterwards?
Okay. Thank you.
My apologies. We'll go ahead and we'll keep our questions for breakout sessions afterwards. Second, I'd like to bring up from the 2nd District, Ventura County Board of Supervisors, Linda Parks.
Good morning. From our county's perspective and looking at my district, seeing much of it burning, I also want to just give out my heart-warm thanks to the firefighters who have stepped up, to the other public safety professionals from all over the state and even other states that have come in to help us. They have been remarkable, and with so little sleep and so much work, they have made some tremendous strides here in Thousand Oaks area, in the Oak Park area. We have had some structures lost, but it is absolutely amazing when you go out there and you see what has been saved. Entire neighborhoods have been saved because of these firefighters taking really tough stands and beating back the flames and saving these homes, saving these neighborhoods. And I just want to give out my love and my support to others in the cities near us, our sister cities that surround us, that now are in the midst of some of the strongest battles out there in Malibu, in Bell Canyon area, the city of Los Angeles, the city of Agoura Hills, and Calabasas. We're here for you, and we want to make sure that you have all the support you have. And really, if you are told to evacuate, please evacuate. In Ventura County, you can go to vcemergency.org and you can find out information about evacuations. Be safe out there. Listen to the professionals when they tell you to evacuate, evacuate. And our best wishes to all of you. I know we are all doing our best. We've had a lot of tragedy in our community. We don't want any more. We do not want any more lives lost. So please listen when they tell you to evacuate. Thank you.
Also present but not speaking this morning, I'd like to recognize Supervisor from the 3rd District, Ventura County, Kelly Long, and from the 5th District, John Zaragoza. I'd like to bring up next to speak Thousand Oaks Councilmember Claudia Bill de la Pena.
Good morning. As all of you know, it's been a brutal, hellish 3 days for the city of Thousand Oaks. We're still not to where we need to be. I know that firefighters from various agencies, including our fire department, Ventura County, have slept in the streets overnight to keep an eye on fires, embers, making sure that there are no additional homes burning or any other property. I cannot even begin to show the city's appreciation for the firefighting men and women, not only from the Ventura County Fire Department, but other agencies as well. There have been heroic efforts. We are forever grateful, and we offer our support to our neighboring cities who are now going through a very difficult time as well. So on behalf of the city of Thousand Oaks, we just wanted to show our appreciation for all of the efforts that have been underway. Thank you.
Next up, we'd like to have our first speaker from our law enforcement component, Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department Chief John Benedict.
Thank you and good morning. I just want to let everybody know that we are still in Los Angeles County in our 5 cities that are affected by this tragic fire under evacuation. That includes the city of Westlake Village, Hidden Hills, Calabasas, Agora, and Malibu. Those areas are still under evacuation, and we ask people to not come back into those areas because, quite frankly, it's still not safe. When we do ask you to evacuate, please heed that warning. It's for your own safety and for the safety of our partners back here, our firefighters that are still trying to get equipment in there, and for law enforcement personnel as well. Sadly and tragically, I'm reporting today that we have 2 fatalities that occurred in the fire area. That is currently under investigation. We have our homicide investigators on scene, and we'll treat that as a fatality at this point, and we'll have more to talk about that later on as the investigation unfolds. I want to speak to you again as far as suppression, as far as looting suppression. We have over 200 deputy personnel in the area right now that is doing secure property at the locations, making sure that your property is safe and that it is secure. Those deputies are out there particularly just to provide security for that property. So just to let you know, there is zero tolerance for any looting. If you have any qualms of going up and doing such things, you will be arrested and you will be prosecuted. Please follow us on our social media as far as Instagram, Twitter, and other social media platforms for up-to-date information about evacuation notices and any other information that we can provide you from the law enforcement stance on from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. Thank you. Afterwards. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to invite up from the Ventura County Sheriff's Department, Sergeant Erik Bouchot.
Thank you, Captain. Good morning. As you know, we've evacuated a large section of southeastern Ventura County, encompassing approximately 95,000 residents. We do know that at least 50 or more homes in Ventura County have been destroyed or damaged in this fire. Those assessments to drill down on exactly how many will begin today. Part of our efforts going forward will be examining how we're going to repopulate areas. All areas that have been evacuated are still under evacuation, and we ask that people cooperate, be patient, and stay out of the areas. We have had 2 incidents of looting that occurred yesterday that resulted in 2 arrests. One of those involved a pursuit of a vehicle. And as my partner from the LA County Sheriff's Department said, If you come here with the intent of taking advantage of the situation, we will arrest you and you will go to jail. Going forward, in addition to the repopulation efforts, we'll be announcing that. Hopefully later today we'll have some ideas on specific info to give out when people can go back. One of the variables here is the changing conditions. Tomorrow we expect another Santa Ana event to begin, and that may change things. We have to make sure the areas are safe before people go back in, so please be patient with both law enforcement and firefighting efforts here. Thank you.
Our next law enforcement partner, I'd like to invite up from the Los Angeles Police Department, Captain Don Graham.
Good morning. On behalf of Chief Michael Moore and all of the personnel of the Los Angeles Police Department, our hearts go out to all the community members that were affected by this event, and also that it is an honor to be here serving with these fine first responders who put their lives on the line to save as many lives as possible. Last night, the Los Angeles Police Department facilitated a mandatory evacuation within the city of Los Angeles on Valley Circle Boulevard, west of Valley Circle Boulevard, from Van Owen Street to the south to Roscoe Boulevard to the north, and all the way to the county line. That mandatory evacuation remains in effect today, and Los Angeles police officers are deployed into that area in order to patrol for security purposes. The Los Angeles Police Department remains ready to respond to any event that will occur that will affect the city, either on the west side of the city or in the western portion of the San Fernando Valley. Thank you.
Next, from the Ventura County Fire Department, Chief Mark Lawrenson.
Good morning. Standing beside me and behind me and all around, you see a number of patches and badges, but what I want to really say is that we really are just one team that has a singular plan and a plan to protect our communities. Last night was a tough night. As the fire jumped the 101 and ran into Malibu, it was quite a fight, but what I can say is, again, your first responders, your law enforcement officers, your firefighters made heroic efforts in saving lives and protecting property. My ask today is this, and it really is that partnership with our community, a prepared community. We know Mother Nature has given us a little reprieve today. The winds have stopped. It gives us some opportunities, but I need everybody to remain vigilant. Please pay attention to the media. Pay attention to requests for evacuations. If you are in an area that is currently under a mandatory evacuation, please don't let your guard down. Please evacuate. We need you to be participants and partners with us. Evacuate well in advance of the fire. When our firefighters and law enforcement officers are in the Malibu area, we don't need them to worry about civilians evacuating as we're trying to come in and take care of people's lives and property. Please stay vigilant. Please help us help you. Thank you.
Next up, from the Los Angeles Fire Department, Deputy Chief Trevor Richmond.
Thank you. And on behalf of Mayor Erik Garcetti and Fire Chief Ralph Terrazas, thank you again for being here today. The Los Angeles Fire Department continues to have a significant presence at this fire. We presently have over 50 engine companies assigned to the West Valley in the city of Los Angeles. It's my understanding during the overnight hours, there were a number of valiant saves in that area. Over the next several days, we'll continue to support the operations here in a unified command posture with Ventura County Fire Department and the Los Angeles County Fire Department. It is our hope that the residents of the city of Los Angeles pay attention to the social media and the media for those evacuation warnings, and then heed those warnings and move out of those areas. It really hinders our operations in the fire department when we have to work among the civilians that are trying to protect their own homes or trying to flee the area. Thank you very much, and hopefully we'll have some more information for you later on. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to recognize presence of chief officers from CAL FIRE, present but not speaking. And our final speaker, I'd like to welcome up from the Los Angeles County Fire Department, Fire Chief Daryl Osby.
Good morning, everyone. As you can see from last night, we had a tough night in relation to this firefight. I had the opportunity to have breakfast with some of the firefighters coming in off the line that's been there since the inception. And as you recognize, we just ended the hottest summer on record. We have fuels that are in critical drought state right now. This is the 6th year of 7 years of drought here in this region. So our firefighters have been facing some extreme, tough fire conditions that they said that they've never seen in their life. As mentioned earlier, we do have CAL FIRE here. You see the Unified Commanders behind me, but we do have CAL FIRE Team 5 here that's here to help us manage this incident. So they will be helping with the management of this incident. As an update, currently we're estimating the fire to be at 70,000 acres. And that's an update from 35,000 acres from yesterday. We are aware that we have significant structural loss in this fire, in particular in the county of Los Angeles. We do not have an exact number at this point. We will have damage assessment teams throughout the day into the night making assessments to make a determination of how many structures were lost or damaged. I can tell you that from our perspective, although we did lose a lot of homes, I give kudos to the firefighters that are here and our first responders that we saved thousands of homes. You can probably imagine the dynamics. If I said earlier, this has been the worst fire conditions that many firefighters have said that they've experienced in their career, with miles and miles of flame fronts coming at multiple communities. Last night, we lost more structures. Last night, I saw there's a lot of media coverage at the University of Pepperdine. I can't speak to all the facts, but I can tell you that at some given point, a determination was made to shelter the students in place. And I believe at that point, that was a good decision, not to put those students in harm's way. I felt that we met the objective of saving everyone's lives there, that we had no life of students or anyone in the Malibu area from my understanding from last night. As it relates to today, you can see that there's a low in the fire. We do have limited resources. We have all available resources from my department and the surrounding agencies here. We've made requests to the state and the federal government, but as you can imagine, there's other fires with competing challenges. We are, as we stand, are getting resources here from Arizona today, and we have additional resources coming today, tomorrow, and thereafter from surrounding states. Our objectives today is to try to get some perimeter control. The focal points will be on the east side of the fire along Bell Canyon and along the 101 freeway, and then perimeter control along Malibu Canyon and the south end of the fire to keep the fire from growing on the perimeter. Unfortunately, we do have a low in weather today, but our weather projections are that starting tomorrow through Tuesday, we'll get another Santa Ana wind event. That's the end of my report, and I'll be open for any questions.
The report about 150 homes that were destroyed, is that a number, ballpark, that you're working with?
That number is a ballpark number that's floating in the universe, and I can't validate one way or another, but what I can say is that from speaking to my firefighters, we have significant losses. I'm sure that from the media you've seen some of those losses, and we will have damage assessment teams out today getting a thorough count of damaged and lost structures.
Where were the two fatalities?
The two fatalities, I believe, were in Mulholland Drive. That's being investigated by the Sheriff's Department.
Has there been any containment achieved this morning with the lull in conditions?
Right now, we have zero containment, and like I said, our emphasis today is to start to do perimeter control and get some containment. But as I mentioned earlier, that we have limited resources here, and so we're doing the best we can with the resources that we have.
What are the number of firefighters that you have on this?
Right now, we have approximately 900 firefighters on the incident as we speak today.
I want to ask you about the Pepperdine situation. Did you try to have the school evacuated? Did the school refuse to let the students leave?
I can't speak to the facts of that. I know that we gave general mandatory evacuation orders for the entire region. And I want to just emphasize that point for a minute, and I'm going to get back to your question, is that when I spoke to my firefighters this morning, it said you can understand how they're hampered with the extreme fire behavior and the erratic winds and flames. But part of the challenges that they were also having is that when they were trying to do structural protection, they were evacuating citizens and animals that didn't leave. So I just want to reemphasize to our citizens that when we ask you to evacuate early. Getting back to the Pepperdine, I can't speak to the facts, but I can say that at some given point there was a determination made for the students to stay in place because at that moment it wasn't safe to evacuate, and so we protected the students where they were, and we were successful in that endeavor.
Did you have to divert resources away from the firefight to protect these students?
No. The commanders that were in the field last night, as I mentioned earlier, our number one priority is life, then property. That we've had fire fronts and different challenges throughout the region, that we had resources there in that particular situation behind Pepperdine to protect that university, along with other structures that we could protect at that moment. And I believe that we were successful to the extent that we could be.
And lastly, there was a video of the president of the university criticizing the fire department for not predicting this situation. Have you seen the video and do you have a reaction to it?
I can't speak to the facts of that video, but I did speak to my chief officers in that region, and we're going to meet with him to get a better understanding. And as any incident of this dynamic, because as you can imagine, with 250,000 people evacuated, thousands upon structures and businesses infected, miles of open line, that there are going to be some challenges. So I have not been in an incident in my career, and it's been 35 years, where there haven't been some situations that, as such as Pepperdine. We will address that. There will be lessons learned, and we'll practice those moving forward.
Chief, could you characterize the behavior of the fire this morning? Is there forward advance, or at the moment is it kind of blanked out?
Right now, as you can see, the winds are still. So today we're going to expect a lot of topography type fire where it's going to be going upslope. We are going to have winds off the ocean today, so when the fire gets into alignment, you may see good runs up canyons. But this is just a low. So we're going to take advantage of that and try to get as much line perimeter in as we can, with the expectation that we'll get more winds tomorrow.
Chief, you had mentioned the competition for resources, obviously, with the Northern California fires. Are you having a hard time getting the air tankers, the aircraft that might be used?
I think that as it relates to competing resources, we're doing the best that we can. All assets in this state are allocated to this fire or to the fire in Northern California. And I can't speak to Northern California, but I think that there's been a lot of lives lost there, and it's been very catastrophic. So our incident commanders have been working through regions in the state, and we feel that we have an ample amount of resources today, in particular as it relates to aircraft, to do perimeter control. I would just say right now it's indefinite. We're expecting more wind tomorrow before we open the freeway and before we start repopulating communities in LA County. We need to work with our local law enforcement, CHP, Caltrans, utilities, and as soon as it's safe, we'll open the freeways. As soon as it becomes safe, we'll start repopulating communities.
Were all these fires set by someone?
They're under investigation right now.
We don't know what the causes for either of them.
As I understand it right now, the fires are under investigation still.
There was a hazardous materials response
If there was, it didn't. It wasn't to the magnitude that it got to my radar. Any other questions? Well, in conclusion, I just want to take this opportunity to thank the media for what you do in educating our citizens. I just want to reemphasize for our citizens that I can't even imagine what it's like to leave your homes if we ask you to leave your homes. But rest assured that our firefighters will do all that they can to save your property. And our hopes are, in the end, that our firefighters are safe and our citizens are safe. We feel extremely bad about those people that lost their homes, but when we get to that point, we'll talk about how to rebuild our communities. So thank you very much.
Folks, if I may add, the California Highway Patrol has Lieutenant Kirker up here, and he'd like to also say a couple of words. So if you could.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming. First off, I would just like to thank our allied agencies, the law enforcement and the fire department that we've been working with. These types of incidents and the collaborative trust that just gets enhanced during these critical incidents, unfortunately. This is what it causes, but the cultivation of the relationships that we have prior to these enhances the safety of the public, and to be able to push these important messages out to you, to the media, for the public. Most importantly, the first responders, the folks and the men and women on the lines, we're the face of all of the true heroes out there. So just to give accolades to them, that they put their lives on the line day in and day out for the public trust and the public safety of why we're all here in the first place. And additionally, I would also like to thank the public. In times like these and in this incident, we have personally seen the patience and the understanding. These fires, they cause us to come in and close roads and evacuate from their homes, but the patience they've had with us and the understanding has been greatly appreciated. And I just want to make sure that that's recognized to everybody out there. As far as the current status of road closures, last night we were able to open up the Pacific Coast Highway. We had road closures on the 10 freeway westbound into the McClure Tunnel, and eastbound we had some off ramps closed, and all PCH was directed southbound for mass exodus and evacuation. That has since been opened up to where now northbound PCH at Sunset, there's a hard closure to prevent ingress because of the mandatory evacuations, and southbound is still open for egress. On the north side of the PCH, there is a road closure in Ventura County to prevent southbound traffic of ingress, but there's still egress on the northbound side. The 101 is still closed from Reyes Adobe going southbound and northbound at Valley Circle. We are currently working with CAL FIRE, and we are currently working with Caltrans and Edison. There's some infrastructure issues with guardrails and power lines and power poles and debris on the roadway. So we are hoping to get that open later on today. It's all tentative, but we're still looking into the scope and the depth of what the issues are. And then we have some other minor road closures within the county roads. And we actually, now that CAL FIRE has taken the lead on this incident, we're collaborating with them and reassessing what those road closures are. So maybe we can open some up as long as it doesn't affect the safety of the public as they're overseeing any possible ingress back to the areas. Thank you very much.
We also have a few additional comments from Supervisor Foy I'd like to add.
Even though we are just in the middle of this fire, we've activated our recovery. The CEO, Mike Powers, has pulled together his team. As you know, a year ago we ended up with the Thomas fire, and we had a big group that we've got a lot of practice in this, learned a lot from the Santa Rosa, Sonoma County fires, and so we're activating that right now to start helping people and get this moving, because there's going to be a lot in this recovery. So that will be part of that. And Supervisor Long, what's the recovery?
So we're working currently on a recovery plan very similar to the Thomas fire. Myself, I've already talked to Supervisor Catherine Berge. We're talking about the County of LA and how do we work together to get people back in and to recover. So we're reaching out to the county, we'll reach out to the cities and make sure that they too can recover. It's a very hard line. We're still going through that with the Thomas fire, and we'll continue with these fires as well. Thank you.
All right, folks, that concludes our press briefing this morning. We want to thank you all for your attendance. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Captain, do you have another schedule? For anyone interested, there's a cooperator team starting down there on Command Road. For any of those who
CAL FIRE is taking over, and there's actually a new Twitter account.
guys have been following the whole fire project. The new Twitter account that is going to go for the incident, it's a CAL FIRE Twitter account, and everything's going to be going through there now. All incidents are going to be retweeting off of that account, and they're going to put an updated
yeah, call live. Huh?